and I'll tell you about how this project started and what's about. Actually, still a lot of people think that Pussy Riot is a kind of punk band, but Pussy Riot was never a band, was never a punk band, and was never a band at all, because they were famous for their protest actions in 2011, 2012, when they kind of impersonated punk band. But there were many other people, like, you know, actionists, video people, very good videographers and filmmakers and poets and political activists. And usually they spend like few seconds in their protest actions protesting against violation of female rights, violation of LGBT rights, the dictator Vladimir Putin later. And usually it took like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, one minute before they were captured by police or by security of any like church or any other institution. So the girls have been arrested for their 2012 action in the church, in the Cathedral of Christ the Savior in Moscow, and that's how I met Masha. I visited her in her prison exactly in the day of her 25th birthday. It was 6th of June 2013, and I brought her very interesting presents. One was the letter from our hero, our opposition leader, the only real opposition leader ever last year's, Alexei Navalny, and a letter of Sir Paul McCartney. Why Paul McCartney? Because, you know, actually, it was shocking for me whatever happened with Pussy Riot. I was raised in the Soviet Union. I was approximately twice older than most of the girls of Pussy Riot, but I never encountered with the situation when artists have been sent to prison 2 years for their maybe kind of hooligan, maybe kind of provocative, but still artistic action. Even more, last years of Soviet Union with Gorbachev, Perestroika, and early years of post-Soviet republics, including Russia, I thought we live in the most free country of the world. Not in terms of, say, electoral democracy, no. But in terms of artistic freedom, definitely yes. I don't know any other country in the world, including, of course, UK, who had so unlimited freedom for artistic expression anywhere, in the street, in the stage, like anywhere. Nothing was tabooed, nothing was really banned. So, one example, 1.5 years before Pussy Riot action, for which they had been sent to prison, Voina group, the war art group, by the way, two female members of Voina became creators, founders of Pussy Riot, Natya and Katya. So, the Voina group, they made famous action in one of the most historical bridges of St. Petersburg, beautiful bridge. You know, the bridges like drawbridges, like fold, unfold. And they are unfolding during the night when ocean ships proceed to like Helsinki, Stockholm, Baltic States, Germany, and maybe to Liverpool. No. So they spent just 40 seconds, exactly the same 40 seconds that Pussy Riot has spent in church before captured by church security, to paint with a thick white paint a giant penis in a bridge. And then bridge goes like this and penis stands like this for many hours. And many people, children, old, you know, young couples, non-couples, like Swedish, Finnish, Germans, all these Baltic people, and all these Russian people, whoever were photographed, thousands of them, with this beautiful St. Petersburg fairy tale buildings and this dick at the backdrop. And dick was right in front of headquarters of Russian security service. And the action was called Хуй в плену ФСБ, which means dick captured by FSB. Do you remember, by the way, people don't remember, it was famous action. What was the punishment for this? I can tell you. The punishment for this was annual state award, innovation for the best innovative art action of the year. About British equivalent, about £20,000 money prize as well. And could you imagine 1.5 years after this, Pussy Riot, for the action for which they deserved by the law of 2012, they deserved community service of 3 days of cleaning the church. Instead of this, they've been sent by absolutely fake accusation of religious hatred to prison for 2 years. We were shocked, so I decided to help, and I was also the member of all Russian movement for human rights, and with the certificate of this organization I could visit prisoners. And I was also the artistic director of many festivals, and I worked with many famous musicians and non-famous, like blending them together, making like collaborations of ethnic music with rock, with electronica. And the first was the man who was famous, but who was my friend and with whom we've done a lot of things in Russia. It's Peter Gabriel. He wrote a letter to the girls and made article in Times, big article in Times, and made video statements. I make his video statements, he made his video statements. Then Patti Smith also, who spent many months with us in Moscow, but many others. But Paul McCartney was the most unexpected because I didn't know him personally. I just wrote to him through his press secretary, Stuart, and actually just a few years before, Mr. Putin was his personal guide in Moscow Kremlin for several hours, personal guide. And of course it was so touching when Paul McCartney answered in 1 hour with a very strong statement, and then he wrote handwritten letters to judges. And you should realize that in Russia, Paul McCartney is bigger than all other artists altogether. This #1 forever. It's just a matter of fact. So this created a lot of buzz, and it made the girls, it didn't influence the decision of so-called court, because court already didn't exist. The court was just like institution which implemented the orders from Kremlin. But it made the life of the girls happier in prison, definitely. It's possible to be happy in prison. So we became friends and we started to travel. Then I asked Masha, should we do something on stage? Because I never did anything on stage. And she's a very good writer. I told her we should use video, we should use musicians, invite musicians, old, new, like write special music for this theatrical show, rearrange the old songs of Pussy Riot. And finally she wrote the text in 2017. We rehearsed it, started to tour. We've done the first show in London in 2017. Since then, 15 people participated in our show, 15. And now I'll tell you about other participants, but before I want to tell you, it's very important for us. Since now there are at least like 3 stage projects of different members of Pussy Riot, and many actions, exhibitions. So it's very important for us that you scan this QR code, because this is our new Instagram. We decided to develop our own artistic social media for our stage projects separately, in addition to the general political kind of social media of Pussy Riot. So it's very important for us if the number of subscribers is growing. It's a very new one. Other members today, Olga Borisova. Masha is like constant member, the only constant member, the author. Olga Borisova, she was the main partner of Masha in political actions, arrested several times with Masha. Also, Olga was a police officer in St. Petersburg, but then she decided maybe that it's more interesting and more useful for humankind to be a member of Pussy Riot. Also, she is a creative editor of Masha's books. One, Riot Days, which is like available there in the Yellow Room, and another one called Political Girl, which will be published by Penguin Books in UK in November this year. Also Tasso Pletner, she participated with us. They are LGBTQ activists and the only professional actor and theater director, but 3 or 4 performances ago in St. Petersburg, they were so wild on stage that her nose met head of Masha. The nose is broken, several days laying in bed, concussion, and right now I think they will sing, but over there, not from stage. They are very tricky for on stage, so they will sing from there, from the bar, but their voice is very important. So we contribute a lot of money from our merch sales to Ukrainian hospitals and Russian political prisoners. And all girls now, they have arrest in absentia and they face several years in prison if they come back to Russia. So thank you for listening. Riot Days show of Pussy Riot. Thank you.